Hey everyone, it's Desiree. So here is our next installment when it comes to our junk journals and what we can make, embellish, create, whether it's a pocket, it's a tuck, it's a little book, paper clips, tags, cards. Cards can be anything. So there's just so much that you can do. You can use any papers you want. You can get them from anywhere. You can use pattern paper. You can use your stamps, all of that goodness. So please, down in the description, I'll have all the other videos listed, and I'll even try to put the playlist that I've created up in the upper right or left, where probably over there. When it comes to the playlist, if you want to see the different things. Again, when it comes to the embellishments and these tags and everything that we're creating, not so much in an order. The first 3 or 4, they are in the order, from choosing your papers, putting them in an order, and then, doing what's next necessary. But again, it's your journal. You can do it any way you want. It's your choice. I'm not going to say you have to do that one way or the other. But for today's video, I want to show you just some little tiny books that I usually make. Now, if I look at the journal that started all of this, and that's this one right here. You guys know I always walk away, have to get something. I try to have everything with me. So that actually was sitting within this separate bookmark or focal point, whatever you want to call it, and it's set in that envelope. So it's just another area where people can, create notes and take this out, maybe add some small pictures, again, whatever they want to do. But that's where that was sitting in this. Now, again, it can sit within a pocket if you want to. You can put, tuck it in here if you want. Again, your journal. You can do whatever you want. But this is what we're going to focus on in today's video. And it's very simple supplies. So all you need is cardstock for your cover. In this case, I just use craft cardstock. Craft is always something that just goes throughout my junk journals as a theme. Very rarely will you see me use, of course, my inside will have a pattern paper, but my outside is always craft. So it's just something that I've done. I've grabbed some stamp sets from my stash. They can be anything that you have. You can also doodle. Don't need to have stamps. I'm just a stamper, and I've got so much, so I'm going to use it. I want to be able to stretch what's in my stash already. This is cream with a smudge. Cream copy paper. Just regular 20-pound copy paper, nothing fancy. I think this is the Staples brand. And then I also have white. You don't have to use cream, okay? You can use white. Maybe you are using bright pattern papers and cream just wouldn't look good, but you want to use white. You can do that as well. Again, you can get this at your dollar store as well. So, again, think of your supplies. Think of what you already have, especially around the house. So, what I'm going to do is I want to cut my pieces. Now here, I have some measurements written out. Again, these are usually my notes that I take. So, of course, I looked at this and measured this out. So, for the cover, that's this piece here. All right. You want to cut it 5 inches width and 3 inches height. All right. So it's going to be 5 inches by 3 inches. This is what this size is. You can make them any size you want. You want to make it 4 by 6, make it 4 by 6. That means you would have to cut it 6 by 8, fold it on the 4. So again, any way that you want to do that. Now the inside papers, they are cut 4 3/4 by 2 7/8. Again, you can cut them any way you want. I just like to have a thin border that goes around. And again, sometimes, you know, numbers, I've got to know what that number is so that if I do a mass production, I can just cut, set it aside, cut the next thing, and you all don't need to hear me say cut anymore. So those are the only two things that I'm cutting, so they'll be sitting there. And then to make it easy, I just sew down this. You can do the hand sewing of the signature. That's fine. This is quicker for me. I love the tails. I keep them in there. And I'm going to show you, this is not tea dyed or coffee stained. Again, you can. So please use whatever types of paper that you want. So let's get started. I'll keep that little guy there. And I'm going to take my craft cardstock. And usually if I make one embellishment, I do like to make 2 or 3 or whatever I've got here. So for this, I know I want it to be 5 inches. And then I'm going to cut 3 inches. So from this piece, I'm going to cut as many as I can. And that would be 2. Now, I say that. So that goes over there. And I don't know why I just put my cutter away. So, because I'm going to do all my cutting at once. So those are my covers. I'm going to pull this back out again. And now I'm going to cut my inside papers. So for one, I want to see what one sheet will give me. So I'm going to cut 4 3/4. And I will cut by 2 7/8. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be even. And again, you can put as many pieces of this paper inside of your, and you know what? This is 2 3/4. I'm going to actually use that one. And then I'm just going to cut one more of these. And then I'll do the same with my white paper. So I'm just going to speed that up so that we can get through the video in a faster mode. I'll be right back. Okay, so I did cut another sheet. Now again, that's a lot of paper when you fold that over. So keep that in mind. If you have 3 sheets of paper, you're actually going to have 6 turns. So you always want to make sure, and I always forget it. So, you know, I like to have in this one, I actually chose 4. All right, so there's 4 pages here. That was when I was good with an even number. So I do like to go to have 5 pages to come out. So I'll save those for when I make another one. And I'll save those as well. And again, I do save these scraps also. Again, I can ink these up. I can put these as strips. I can stamp on them for my words. So I keep everything. It's very scary. So here's one, and here's another. So the first thing that I like to do with these is I crumble them up. Give it that little bit of aged look, give it a little bit of a warm look. Now again, I'm not going crazy here. I'm just taking the paper and crunching it in and pulling it back out. Taking the paper, crunching it in, pulling it back out. Nothing fancy. Okay, so now you can see it looks like you tea dyed. Well, you get the same thing. Now you can also just spray these with water and you'll get that same effect as well. So again, anything that you're looking to do, you can do. Now I am going to grab my Distress ink and I'm going to ink around the edges of these papers. Very lightly, nothing too heavy. If I get it on the front, I'm okay with that. You can either use your distress ink, you can use any inks that you would like. You can use archival. So anything that you choose, absolutely pull those out and you can use them. You notice I'm not flipping the papers over. I mean, you can, and then you get your inked edges on the other side. Now that I did that one, I've got to do them all. Okay, and while I have my inks out, I'm also going to do these as well. So, now, again, you could have a lot of fun with these. If this size is more manageable, you can put your pattern paper inside here, decorate the inside, create your focal point on the outside. So you can have just a lot of fun if you want. Now, what I also do is I like to distress the edges here so carefully. I do have the distressing tool. I can't find it. So you can use a pair of scissors or you can just tear it. But just on the edges, I like to just distress that right out. Again, please be careful if you're using your scissors because you don't need a tool, but you just want to be careful. All right, it does create lots of fuzzies. And then I come in and that really picks up the ink. All right, so I'll do that to this one as well. And I ink around all four edges and both sides on this one before I use my scissors to distress the edges so that I have that shading. Just in case anyone's thinking, well, why do you do that if you're going to be inking it anyway? All right, I'm going to fold this now. Just going to fold them in half. Again, nothing needs to be perfect. And then I'm going to straighten them out. Okay, so now what I do like to do is decorate just a little bit. I'm going to keep my distress out. Get those fuzzies off there. And that's where our stamps are going to come in. So what I'm going to do is just, you can do so many different things. Whatever type of stamps you want, I'm just going to take these and I'm going to bring this in on the corner. Now that's another reason why I do like to use my archival ink sometimes to stamp. I love to use my distress ink, just period. But if I'm stamping an image such as this, I do like to use my archival ink. It shows up. With the distress, and I did just re-ink this because I'm constantly doing that. With the distress ink, I really like, if I'm stamping with this, I like to use it for my background so that it's softer, because this is softer. So you can see how that barely came up. Now when I come in with my archival, and there we go, we can see that. All right, so I do like to use my archivals for this type of stamping. So now I'm just going to keep on grabbing. I think I'm going to put that one right there because I think that'll be cool. Matter of fact, I'm going to go right over my fold, which is okay. We're good. Even if we weren't, we would have been good. Let's see, and I think I'll grab this one. I think that one's really pretty. And we'll put that one there. And then I think I'll come in the back right there. Again, doesn't have to be, you know, anything in particular. You can have fun with it. I have ink all over my fingers now. And that's okay, because we have to get into our work, right? Right. And of course I don't have any of my wipes around me. So again, I love these florals. It adds something a little bit different. Can you add other types of stamps to this? Absolutely. I mean, you could actually take, here's a background stamp, and if you want, we could just ink this up. And then when we ink this up, we can take this piece, set it on an angle, rub it, don't worry about being perfect, lift it up, and now you've got this great texture going across that as well. And I really like that. So many different things that you can do when it comes to either of these. So now I'm going to grab my pages. I'm okay. I'm not worried about them being even. I'm just going to lay them down. I'm going to just fold them in half and set them in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center, and I'm just going to put 2 clips on the ends of these, because we always want to clip so that our pages are held. And of course I'm looking for my clips. Now they were just literally in front of me. Oh my good, found them. How could I not see this? Really? All right. Anyway. So I'm just going to put one here, and they're the bulldog clips. I mean, they can be any clips that you have. That's fine. And then I'm going to put one here. I'm going to grab these, do the same thing here. And then I'm going to sew down the center. Now I'll sew one of them, and then the other one I'll show you that you can hand sew it if you want. You can also, if you're good with a stapler, you can, I am not, you can also use a stapler as well. Just staple down the center. So anyway, you can use glue. Again, whatever it is that you would like to do, do it and enjoy it. I'm going to find that center again, and then add my clips. So I will be right back after I sew this one. Okay, I am back. So I'm going to remove my clips, and you can see I've got a little tail down here, and then I'm just going to finger crease it. You can use a boom folder, whatever. And then there is my little book. Very simple, and it can sit in a pocket or anything that you're looking to do. You can embellish this. You can put a little tab on it. Again, anything. Give you all those ideas. So for this one, we can sew, and you can still sew the signature. This is just a very mini signature. And I'm going to use a cotton, because you can use anything. I'm going to use a cotton pearl number 5. This just happens to be my DMC floss. And I am just going to find my center, which of course is right here, I think. Oh my. Yeah, this is fun. All right, there we go. Now I've got my loop. So, and I just unknot this. So I'm going to cut a section of this. And just as we did with our other signature, you would measure the same way. You would take this and measure 3 times. And then you're going to snip. And now we're going to sew. Now, I don't worry about measuring. I really eyeball this one. I'm not having anything else in between that I have to worry about. But if you want, you know, if you just set this right here in your center, you can see, and you would be able to eyeball the center. So I'm just going to say that's right there. And then I'm going to do one here, and then I'll do one here. So again, nothing, I don't know if you can see that, nothing perfect. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle with my thread, and I'm going to find that hole. I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to puncture through. See? And I'm coming right out where I want to. And then I'm going to come in over here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, this is not, you know, again, if you want some things to be perfect, then I would, you know, puncture your holes first if you want. That's totally up to you. I'm going to make sure that this thread is held. I'll pull that down so that my fingers can pitch it. I want to make sure that I'm tight. And now I'm going to come in, and I'm going to puncture the next one. Again, you don't have a lot of papers on this, so again, it's okay. I think if you get more than the ones here, then yeah, you should really use your awl or your pokey tool, whatever it is that you have, to make sure that you've got a nice point or area to poke through. So I'm going to grab this tail, I'm going to pull it down, and I'm also going to pull down the center, because I want to go back into this hole, but I don't want to go through the threads. So you can, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to come through. And I'm going to come back up. So now this thread is in the center of my two tails. I'm going to take these, could remove my clips, because I don't need those anymore. Take my two tails, and I'm going to pull straight up. And I'm going to make sure I'm tight, as tight as possible. You know, you don't want it to go all the way over here. You know, you want it to stay along that edge there. I'm going to take my needle out, and I'm going to tie my double knot. With these hanging down, you can let these hang down. You can trim them shorter. For these, I am going to leave a tail. And then what I can do, hang on. I'm going to take this piece here. Never be able to do that again. I'm going to punch out 4 hearts. I'm going to take one. And for this, I can use my art glitter glue. It's a small area. Take that. I'm going to put my string on that. And then I'm going to put another heart on top. It can be hearts, it can be butterflies, it can be anything that you would want it to be. Could be circles, could be a square, could be a rectangle. Again, anything you want it to be. But this just adds, you know, if you didn't want to add charms, you know, this can replace that. You know, again, you don't have to add the metal pieces. We've got plenty of paper where we can create all of our embellishments. And you just want to make sure that they are even. So there you go. So this one would have an accent, and of course, just going to use what's left on my little tiny thing here. Absolutely must do that. there you go. So you have, let's put them the right way. Okay, that was funny. So here we go. So we have all of our stamping here as I'm off camera. We have all of our stamping here. You have that, that's on the back. These are hanging down, so we've got some little tiny paper charms to them. And then this is the one that I sewed. And then again, you know, your papers look distressed. You can continue to crumple them. And again, it's just a little pocket, or excuse me, a little pocket type notebook that can go inside of your journal so that people will have more spaces and more places to write their thoughts and their memories. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is helpful. And even still, even if you just want to do these, yay. So it's just something that's cute. These would make great gifts. And whatever it is, great for the purse as well to jot things down. So thank you so much for stopping by. All the products that I used, I'll continue that list that's down in the video description. It'll just keep on growing as long as the items are available. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe, be part of my group here. There's so much more coming, so make sure you ring that bell so you know when the next video is released. I hope you are all enjoying your day, but always remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time.